drop, stitch, magic loop, slip, slip, purl, slip, slip, knit, twisted cord, wrap and turn, pick up and knit.
Make sure you stay tuned to the Raw segment. We have another giveaway. Stay tuned. Hi everybody. Welcome to another episode of Joey's Scarf. This is a knitting and crochet podcast, and this is episode 29. Today is October 12th, 2018. My name is Linda, and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Linda Grace, and that's Linda with a Y. I'm recording at my home in Barnegat, New Jersey. That is along the Jersey Shore. We are about 20 minutes from the ocean, over the bridge onto the island, and about 10 minutes from the bay. Today is a spectacular day. The sky is crystal clear, there are no clouds, and it's a little chill in the air finally. We've had summer up until yesterday. Last night we had a really, really bad storm. I think it was the remnants of the Hurricane Michael, which devastated parts of Florida. Very sorry about the people who have lost their lives and all their belongings. It was just really, really devastating. So I'm recording in my sunroom, and when I came in here to get everything set up, I noticed that there was a little bit of a flood along the windows, which I'm facing. Yeah, all along the sliding glass doors that make up the sunroom. And there was maybe an inch of water there, and it was from the storm last night. The wind was really strong. There was thunder, lightning. It was a pretty big storm. So I had to stop what I was doing with the podcast, grab some towels, and open up all the windows, soak up the water, and there really wasn't much, and I have no reason to complain. I want to thank everybody for watching and coming to visit me today. I did gain a few new subscribers, so I'm very happy about that. Last time I podcast, Ross and I ran a little contest to celebrate 300 subscribers, and I picked a winner, and we'll announce that a little bit later on after all the knitting and all of that stuff. So let's get on with some knitting. By the way, this is a knitting and crochet podcast, if I didn't mention that before. So let me get my first finished object. Okay, my first finished object is a poncho. And what's this? It's kind of hard to show the whole thing, but kind of get the idea, right? I'm not going to put it on, but I will. I'll insert some pictures of me wearing it. The color is not really showing very well because it's really more of an aqua blue, and it's showing up here like a bird's. I don't know. It's not showing up in the right color. It's a simple pattern, a lot of stockinette, and I enjoyed making it. The pattern is called Inner by Sue Clark. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's very, very basic. It's pretty much a diagram, and those are the instructions. So I didn't have a hard time following the instructions. Very simple pattern. I think I would probably, I did make a change. It says to cast on 80 stitches, and I think I cast on 90 or 94 or something like that. I think I would even cast on more if I made it again. but it's a poncho pattern. I liked it, liked making it, and because of the warm weather we've been having, I haven't had a chance to wear it yet, but I used the yarn that I used to make this was Barocco Vintage, and I think it was DK weight, and this color is called Bird's Egg, but it's really a pretty almost like an aqua color, and I think it'll show up better in the pictures that I put in of me wearing it. Yeah, so I used 3 skeins and just knit, and voila, it's done. Not really voila. It took me a couple of weeks at least to make this, and I just worked on this, nothing else, and I was able to finish it. And I find myself doing that more often, starting a project, not picking up anything else, and just finishing what I'm working on. And I find that I'm able to complete projects that way, and it works out better for me. So I'm going to show you my next finished object. Okay, my next finished object is a sweater. I made a sweater. And I know the last time or the time before that I said I'm swearing off sweaters, I'm not making them anymore. But I don't know, I think I like a challenge, and I said this isn't going to beat me, I'm going to make a sweater. So I found this really cool pattern. The construction is pretty different than what I would normally be prone to making, like a raglan sleeve sweater. This one, the construction was really unique. The pattern is called the 5 Days Sweater, and it's by the Autumn Acorn. The designer is the Autumn Acorn, and I don't remember what her name is, but it's like I said, a paid-for pattern, and this is her the page she has on Ravelry if you want to buy the pattern. All the information, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but all the information that I'm giving you today about patterns and yarn and all of that stuff, if necessary, it'll be in the show notes, will be in the down bar below. But this is the sweater, and again, I don't have it on. I'm going to again put pictures of me wearing it. But it's a pretty pattern. I like it because it has some lace, some garter, some more lace, and then garter. And as I said, it was a unique construction. I think you would enjoy making this sweater. I liked it. It came out really nice. It encouraged me. It really did. I was able to finish it and make it, and I'm going to wear it, and I think maybe sweaters may be in my future after all. But the yarn I used for this is, again, I used Barocco Vintage, and this colorway is called Time, and it's really a pretty color. Yeah, so I don't have a lot of finished objects because I did this once I finished my poncho. I started this, and it's called the 5 Day Sweater, and it took me about 8 or 9 days to make it. And I think it took longer actually to dry this because it's not pure wool. It is, I think it's like, let's see, it is 50-40, something like that. So it's got a lot of acrylic in it, and it took quite a while to dry. But I did the sweater in about 9 days, I think. But once I finished my poncho, then I started the sweater, and I didn't pick anything else up until I finished this. And so now I have a poncho and a sweater completed. Yeah, so that's my sweater. And can't wait to wear it. All right, my third and final finished object is a hat. And as you can see, it's got some llamas around. So I did a little bit of color work with this one. And there's a story behind it. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with the game, the video game called Fortnite. It's a huge phenomena. All the kids are playing it. My grandchildren play it. I wanted to find it. It was my grandson Domani's birthday, Joe's son, who turned 8 yesterday. What's today? He turned 8 yesterday. Yeah, so he had a birthday yesterday, which is bittersweet. Seeing Domani grow into a fine little boy, and he's just so smart, and I just wish that Joe were here to see him grow. So that's the bitter part of it. And the sweet part is just Domani, because he is such a nice, cute and adorable and fun little boy. Anyway, Domani is very into Fortnite. So I looked on Ravelry and on the web to find a hat pattern that would have maybe some of the characters on Fortnite on, you know, that you can incorporate into the hat. And I couldn't find anything. But in my research, I found that there are llamas in this game. And they are, I think it's a good thing. The more llamas you get, the more prizes, or I don't know. I don't have any idea how the game works, but according to my research, it said that llamas were a good thing. So I thought, okay, I'll make a llama hat, and which I did. And again, it is, I don't have much experience with color work. So I learned along the way here, it's the inside, those are my floats. I probably pulled them, even though it doesn't look it here, I think I may have made them too tight, because it looks like they kind of like pucker the material in here. So I don't know if that's supposed to be that way or what the deal is. But also this yarn, and I don't have the label, and it was just in my stash. It's very soft. I want to say that it feels like alpaca. So there's not much structure to it. It's kind of, you know, drapey. So I think maybe if I had done it with wool, it would have been, it might not have puckered as much. I decided not to give Domani this hat because I'm not sure that he would have understood what these things were and what they would have to do with his game, Fortnite game. But I can wear the hat. I'm not going to put it on because I don't want to mess up my hair. But it fits me pretty good. So it's very soft, and so I have a hat. The pattern is a paid-for pattern. You can find on Ravelry, of course. And it's called the Chetwyn Alpaca Cap. And that's what it's supposed to look like. Yeah, mine didn't quite come out that way. But, I mean, can you tell that they're llamas, kind of? Or do they look like giraffes? I don't know. Maybe my next attempt will be better. So that's my last finished object. That's it. But I do have a story to tell you. Okay. So, I was so excited about finishing that sweater that I showed you, and it encouraged me to make another one. And I follow this person called Knitatude, and it's actually, her name is Chantal. I follow her on Instagram, and she was doing a knit-along. I'm distracted by the beautiful weather and the birds outside, but anyway, she was doing a knit-along, and she created this pattern called my Beginner Raglan. And it was, she was, you know, set up a Facebook group, and there were about 500 people making this sweater. She was doing it in chunky yarn, and I thought it looked really easy, and it's called my Beginner Raglan, so I jumped in, and this is the pattern, and it's a paid-for pattern on Ravelry, and it looks like I could do that really quickly, and I like the way it looked, so I jumped in and ran and got the yarn. The yarn that I chose and what she recommended was called Big Twist Yarns Natural Blend, and I found it in Joanne Fabrics. I'm going to put some pictures in of my sweater that I made. Here. And then I'm going to show you what's left of my sweater. Yeah, I frogged it. I completed the whole thing, and as I was doing it, I made a mistake. And I thought, oh, I'm just going to leave it. No one will know the difference. That was mistake number one. Mistake number one was not correcting mistake number one. But as I worked through the sweater, there were many more mistakes along the way. But I ignored those mistakes too, figuring this is bulky yarn. No one's going to notice these mistakes. Let me tell you, bulky yarn shows up the mistakes a lot more than fingering weight or decay or even worsted, okay? So this morning I made the sweater, I blocked it, I let it dry, and every time I would walk by this sweater and look at it, I saw all of the mistakes. The sleeves were a real joke. Because I didn't do what I was supposed to do, one of the sleeves had a Popeye muscle here, and the other one had the Popeye muscle here. Don't ask me how I did it. What I found difficult, first of all, I have to explain. It's very hard for me to work with bulky yarn and big needles because you use a size 15 and 13 needle to do this. I found it really hard on my hands. My hands were killing me by the end of the day. Once you finish the sweater, which, okay, it wasn't too bad. You're working it in the round. It was okay. Time to attach, time to start on the sleeves. Well, you're using a smaller circumference sleeve for the sleeve, of course. So I was using like a 16-inch needle, and so the stitches were really tight, and that made it even worse trying to slide those stitches. So it called for a garter stitch sleeve, and in the round that means that you knit one row, purl one row, and the purling was killing me. So I ripped out the sleeve and I said, you know what, I'm just going to do stockinette, which means I would be knitting every row of the sleeve. I don't know what I just, at that point, I think I was just so upset with the mistakes in the sleeve, and I wasn't following the pattern. So back to the drying board. Every time I would walk by and see that sweater, I would kind of try and stretch it to make the sleeves look okay, smooth it out to kind of hide the mistakes I made. And it just wasn't working. This morning I got up and I said, I can't, I'm not going to wear this sweater. It's bothering me more to see it because it just reminds me about how bad it was. So I'm going to take it out. And I did. I didn't take it out all the way, thinking maybe I would go back to it. But this sweater might turn out to be a blanket. A crochet blanket instead. That's my story of my beginner raglan sweater fail. Oh well. Hasn't discouraged me from making a sweater because I'm going to talk about that next. Okay, so I was trying to decide what my next project was going to be, and after that sweater experience I thought, okay, I'm going to do a shawl. And I picked out a really nice pattern. It's called the Tally Shawl. And it says this little shawl is all about using up your leftovers. So it isn't important the yardage or an exact finished size. Look through your stash, find some fingering weight yarns that look good together and just go with it. Don't worry about measurements. Stop when you run out of yarn or when it looks about the right side. I think she meant size. Knitting doesn't always have to be precise. Right up my alley. So I started the shawl and I'm making it with this really pretty color. I don't have the label with me, but again, it's a Barocco yarn. I'll put it in the show notes below. I started it and I was doing pretty well with it, and I was using these needles, and actually I was using a different yarn. I was using an Alpaca yarn. Wasn't really crazy about the way it was coming out, but I have all this Alpaca and I wanted to use some of it. Had them on these beautiful signature needles. And as I'm knitting along, this is what happened. All my stitches fell off. This came apart. Very frustrating. Okay, so I have a sweater fail, and now this happens. This wasn't really crazy about the Alpaca. Let me try to find something else. Different needles, different yarns. So I started it on this. I'm sorry, I couldn't get the hang of the pattern. If you can see it, it's really a cool pattern. It's got this leaf in the middle here, a leaf pattern. So you're like increasing and then decreasing to make the shape of the leaf. And I could not get it to come out right. I don't know why. So I ripped it out and I started messing around with my own kind of, not even a version of that, but just something playing around with oh, you don't know. Playing around with a shawl pattern. And yeah, I had some issues here and not having a good time with this knitting business, and it can be so frustrating and so upsetting. So I'm going to frog this. I'm going to attempt another sweater, but this time I'm going to make a small sweater for my grandson, my 5-year-old grandson. And somebody told me once, I think it was you, Victoria, from Victoria Knits. I think you said, why don't you try making a child sweater first, and then a blue jay just flew by. And then it might give you and you can get the hang of it and the construction. So that's what I'm going to do. Now I've made a flax. This is I'm going to do the Flax by Tin Can Knits. I made the flax light for myself, and I was able to do it. I wasn't real happy with the fit of the sweater, so I'm hoping that I'm going to have better luck with Jackson's sweater. So that's going to be the next thing I cast on, because right now I don't have anything except for this, which I cast on, which I'm going to frog. So this is what I'm going to cast on next. It's going to be a sweater for Jackson, and this is a free Ravelry pattern by Tin Can Knits. And what's nice about their patterns is they have every size imaginable. So they have size from 0 to 6 months up to 4XL listed here. So you can find your size. And since I've already had the experience of making the sweater for myself, I'm hoping that this goes smoothly, and it'll give me incentive to jump in and try another sweater for myself. And I probably would make the 5-day sweater again, but I just wanted to try a little different construction than that. So this is what I'm going to go with. So that is it for my knitting today. And yeah, that's about it for knitting. I'm going to try and find Ross, because I want him to help me announce the winner of last podcast's contest that we ran. So let me go find Ross. Look who I found.
I'm sitting right next to you, and you call me senile.
Where have you been? What were you doing?
I've been looking up places to go.
Oh, you're leaving me?
No, we'd go together.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's all.
What is that?
I don't know. Anyhow, I had something really funny to say.
Oh, you did?
I did.
What was it?
And I forgot what it was.
Oh, my goodness.
I think it had to do with the contest. The last time we were on, weren't we?
That's right. We ran a contest.
We ran a contest.
Do you remember what it was?
I know the answer.
Well, this is Jeopardy. What was the question?
I know the answer. I'm trying to think. It had to do with Cloris Leachman.
Right.
And,
yeah.
Cloris Leachman was Frau Fabissina.
Frau Fabissina.
That was her name.
Right.
In what movie, and what did it stand for?
Right. I think we had to say, no, I think the question was something like, what was the movie, and what was the movie?
Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein?
Yes.
Okay. And who was the actress that played for Frau Fabissina?
Frau Fabissina,
yes,
was played by Cloris Leachman.
Right. So that was the question.
That was the question.
Right. And a lot of people answered the question. In fact, we had 17 people knew the answer.
Knew the answer.
Yes, they did.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But it's such a strange name.
What?
Fabissina.
I know we told them last time what it was.
We did? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So in
case somebody's watching for the first time.
Well, there's a Yiddish expression called, well, it's not called anything. It's just, look at that Frau Fabissina. Look at Fabissina Punim on that one. You know what a Fabissina Punim is?
No, like a
miskite.
Oh, please, here we go.
Like a facha brut.
Oh, okay. All right. So anyway, there were 17 people. I numbered the names, and then I did a random number generator. And
for real.
Go ahead, announce the winner.
You better point to it. I forgot which one.
Well, I have it circled.
Point to the circled one. And the winner is Melissa Brown.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Melissa. So, okay, all right, enough. Okay. So, Melissa, I think I can find you. I'm going to try and find you on Ravelry. I'm pretty sure I can. But if not, you can contact me on Instagram and Ravelry. I'm Linda Grace, Linda with a Y, but I think you know that. And I'm going to send you something nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
She really does send nice stuff.
I do. Oh, that reminds me.
No semi-precious.
I forgot to talk about this. I participated in Fiber Share. And so I sent a package and I received a package. And I got some really nice yarn and some really nice goodies. And I think I'll put in a little video at some point, maybe at the end of this, to show what I got. And because I didn't bring it in here, and I don't feel like getting it, and then pulling all the stuff out. But
well, when it gets cold enough in this room,
yeah, what?
You'll get up to.
So that's it. I did. It was a very nice experience. I got to meet two lovely ladies, and it was good. I liked it. I had fun.
Yes, you seemed very, very pleased with the outcome of your exchanges.
Yes, and you helped me pick out. Well, you didn't help me pick out stuff, but you came along with me. Yeah.
I volunteered my services as a driver.
Driver, right.
Yeah. I still have a license.
So, do you think that's going to show as like
what?
Faded here? I don't know, it looks faded. It looks fun.
Well, it's that kind of a fabric.
And I think the lighting
it's
here.
that kind of a print.
Yeah.
Well, this is banking into bright sky, actually.
Okay.
And it's part.
I hope everyone can see us.
Well, if they can't, they need glasses.
So from last time, well, yeah. I got to 300 subscribers, and then I went up to 310 subscribers, but now I'm down to 306. I don't get it.
I don't either. Well.
What? What? Speak.
La donna è mobile.
What does that mean?
A woman is fickle.
What kind of language is that?
Opera.
Okay. So, we are trying to decide. We want to take a road trip. And our plans kind of changed. We had everything set up. We're going to take a trip, and plans got changed, and now we're not doing that trip. So you're kicking that table, and you're...
I noticed that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where do you think we're going to go?
Well, there are some unusual activities, actually. One of which is we aren't doing because we always do it.
What?
The sheep and...
Oh, yeah, we're not going. So we could go to the Rhinebeck, New York Sheep and Wool.
But instead...
But just not.
There's the possibility of the Headless Horseman show.
Okay.
Halloween, associated with Halloween, in...
Where?
Irvington, New Jersey.
Irvington?
Not Irvington, New Jersey. New York.
Irvington, New York?
Yes. Right across the river is Sleepy Hollow, and they have a pumpkin show in the evenings now, right through to November 25th, I think.
Okay.
So
is it going to be scary?
It depends on how young at heart you are. If it's too scary, I mean, you're too old.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So that's one possibility.
That's one possibility. Another is to visit the castle overlooking the Hudson River up by Hudson, New York.
No, not by
called
Hudson.
Alana.
Is it by Hudson, New York? That's not where it was. Kingston.
Hudson is on the other side of the river.
Okay.
Olana is opposite Kingston.
Oh, Olana.
Olana. Interesting, look up Olana and Google it and see what it is.
Glasses are crooked.
If you're in the New York metropolitan area, you may find it an interesting day
All right,
trip.
so that's a possibility. Well, we're not going to do it in one day, are we? No, we can't. It's 3 hours.
We could.
Yeah, but by the time we get there. All right, so that's
If we left at 8 in the morning, we'd be there by lunch.
Not gonna
Long
happen.
before. No, we have the time. I took off.
Oh, you did? You're not working that week? This week? Okay.
Okay.
All right,
enough.
so that's... Yeah, so, of course, I will be looking up yarn stores wherever we go. So, even though I'm not going to the sheep and wool,
Right.
the Rhinebeck thingy, I will probably visit some yarn stores along the way. Why, I don't know. I have so much yarn.
Well, if you throw enough of these shindigs where you draw people's names out of the hat, you'll be able to get rid of some of it.
How did you feel when I frogged my sweater this morning?
I was wondering what those noises were.
What noises?
This morning when I went out to the living room and I heard these riggit. There must have been, you told me there was a frog in the room. How did I feel? I felt one of two ways.
Okay.
That you are proud enough in your work so that you cannot let an error go by.
Mm-hmm.
You finally got tired of pulling out stitches and redoing it. And she took a whole sweater apart. I mean, it's like she has all new yarn and nothing to do with it.
Well, I'm going to make some.
I was a little shocked at first, but then I thought you are.
You are who you knit.
You are what you knit.
That's right.
You did like you liked the sweater. Mm-hmm. There were compromises you made when you started it.
You know what?
And you didn't want those. You don't want to knit something where you had to take a compromise.
Right. So you know what made my mind up?
I said, "What's wrong with it?"
You did. I said I had the sweater laid out to dry, and I said, "Can you find the mistake?" And you went right to it. And I said, "Okay."
I have a trained eye for this.
You do.
Yes.
Yeah. So if
I
you
was
could see
I was
it,
a quality control person in China once
you were not.
for a sweater manufacturer.
No, you weren't.
Okay, I weren't.
All right, so that's about anything else you want to talk about? No?
No, you can.
Should we run another contest?
Do I have to think of more words?
I think this contest, because I do have a lot of yarn, and I am feeling pretty generous, and so the question will be, what was the name of the castle that Ross mentioned that we may go visit?
I hope you were paying attention.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Because it's, Google it.
Yeah, well, he told you to Google it. He spelled it for you, so...
No, I didn't. I pronounced it a couple of times, though.
Oh, you did. You pronounced it. That's right. You didn't spell it.
It's spelled pretty much the way it
Okay, well, you
sounds.
can't spell it now because then you'll give it away.
I can't even give away the answer.
That's right. All right, so let's...
If a guy gave away the answer, I'd win the contest.
Oh, yeah. That's true. All right, so if you can... Now, I'm sure you will rewind, and that's perfectly acceptable. I don't expect you to remember what we were blathering about here. But yeah, do that, and we'll We'll pick a winner.
You want to pick a winner?
One winner.
Or you can just give them like a wristlet or a headband, or you'll just knit a headband or something.
No, we're not. No, it'll be yarn. It'll be
yarn.
A full skein of yarn. You could have talked about the reservation you made for us.
You want that tonight?
If you can.
While it's still fresh in my
yes,
memory.
but if you can kind of like speed it up, tell the shortened version.
I can do that.
Okay, go.
Oh, we got home. What was it? 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Where were we?
This is not speeding it up.
Oh, so we got home 2 nights ago, and I figured, well, we're going away, blah 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 blah, and I should check out some hotels in the area. And one of the hotels was, help me here,
The Ritz-Carlton.
The Ritz-Carlton, and I thought, gee, for $1,965
Stop shaking the camera.
a night, I'd like to know.
How much?
$1,965
A night.
A night.
This was the Ritz-Carlton in Montreal.
In Montreal.
Okay. That's where we were thinking of going.
Yes.
Yes.
So I looked it up on my handy iPhone. My iWatch iPhone.
You don't have an iWatch.
No, I don't. I looked it up, and you know how everybody's like this, and they've got their fingers. Well, I did a thing for one night.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was for one night, and I accidentally slipped, and my hand went down the face of the iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I better not. I can't make a reservation. This is $1,965. So I waited a little while, and a little while, maybe a minute or two, and I found out that I had made a reservation for $1,965 plus tax.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't run in the real expensive yarn circle, but I had to get out of this purchase, and for the next 4 hours.
So you accidentally actually made this reservation.
I accidentally made this.
And
it's a lot more than $1,600.
And the reason that you were worried is because Ritz-Carlton, is it owned by Marriott?
I don't know what the organization is.
But they have your Marriott card on file for
Yes.
for some reason.
Well, because they joined.
They joined.
But
okay.
what their relationship is, I don't know.
Okay, so they were able to reserve the room in your name with your credit card.
Bingo. Not the credit card.
This was the saving grace.
Right. The credit card, well, there are 2 saving graces.
Okay.
There's Grace A and Grace B. It's disgusting living with me. It's terrible. The first grace was my Marriott rewards card, my Marriott credit card, which is ancient, was heisted, or my account was hacked, and I haven't replaced the account.
Right, so they have your old card that was hacked, that was voided, and is no longer
right, so they'll
working.
They'll be putting a hacked card through.
So when they went to charge that card, they weren't able to because it's not a valid card.
So they want to, though, because they said they want to.
So you called.
I called. They said, "Oh, you have a legitimate thing." I said, well, "Wait a second."
A legitimate thing?
A legitimate reservation. I said, "Wait a second. I made a reservation for the day before." And they put it through in as a reservation.
Right. So what happened was you made the reservation for that day.
Right.
And it was 10 o'clock at night by the time when you made the reservation.
The reservation, right,
Right.
correct.
Okay. So
Right.
by the time you called, you should have already shown up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, because they closed reservations by the time I made the reservation, but it made the reservation.
This is getting way too.
Okay, to make it short and quick. 3 phone calls later, and 2 very, very nice people on the phone. They told me they canceled the reservation, and that
And they're taking your iPhone away from you. And you're on the list now.
I'm on the list. You know the list next to everybody's cash register? Do not accept checks.
Right.
Anyhow, they canceled the reservation, and more so, they canceled the penalty for canceling the reservation outside the 3-day mark.
Okay, so needless to say, we're not staying at the Ritz-Carlton in Montreal 2 days ago.
That's right.
Okay. Maybe someday we'll do that.
It almost gave me a heart attack.
All right, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed that little story. Make sure you comment below with the name of the hotel. Well, not the hotel, the historic castle that we're going to see.
The historic landmark.
And you may win a nice skein of yarn.
That's right.
All right, so that's it for today, and we'll see you next time.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Da, 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 da. Oh, wrong kind of music.
You ready?
Ready.
Okay, so I got my fiber share package today.
Oh,
I'm so excited.
I can.
Thanks, Hannah. Okay. You can stop now.